Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in for another mindfulness workshop, Self-Care Through Mindfulness and Yoga. I am Julie Vastine, and I direct Dickinson's Alliance for Aquatic Resource Monitoring.
And I am Dr. Megan Nesbitt. I am one of the staff psychologists at the Wellness Center at Dickinson College.
Awesome. Thank you, Megan. So for today's workshop, we're going to have a 60-minute experience. So we just started with our introductions, and then Megan will get us started with some guided breath work, and then I'll do some gentle movements and a light yoga flow, and then I'll pass it back over to Megan. And with that, Megan, do you want to go ahead and get us started with some guided breath work?
That sounds great. Thank you, Julie. So I want everyone to kind of get into a comfortable position. It does not have to be in a chair. You can sit on the floor, you can sit in a chair, you can lie down. What I recommend is that you are in some position that allows you to keep your torso extended. That's going to help you take a deep breath and be able to slow down your breathing and sort of breathe into all parts of your lungs. So if it helps you, this is not a requirement. You can put one hand on your upper chest and one hand on your belly. This can sometimes help us to follow the flow of our breath. You can keep your eyes open or close them, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And just take a breath in and notice where your breath is going. And then exhale. And when you get toward the end of that exhale, try to press the air out using those muscles in your belly. And as you're breathing in again, notice, feel your hand rise on your chest and then on your belly. And draw that air all the way down into the bottom of your lungs. And as you exhale again, try to slow that breath down by pursing your lips just as though you're whistling. We're trying to increase the oxygen exchange, at the same time sort of gradually slowing our breathing. By trying to take those long, full, deep breaths. On your next breath in, I want you to try to breathe all the way down into your belly and then pause at the top of your breath for 1, 2, or 3 seconds. And then exhale slowly. Pressing the air out at the bottom of your breath. Sometimes it can help to count up as you're breathing in, and then institute that pause at the top of the breath. And then exhale and count up again on your exhale, trying to extend the exhale for 1, 2, or 3 seconds longer than your inhale. That will help to increase the exchange, the flow of oxygen, and it also helps to begin to slow your inhale, so you're establishing a rhythm. Setting the pace for your breathing. And as you're focused in on that breath, you may notice other sounds in the background. You may have thoughts that are coming up, things that you're thinking about or need to do, something that's been worrying you. It's okay that those are coming up. We're going to accept those thoughts, but then let them go by. We're going to put those into the background and foreground, focus on our breathing. As I said, sometimes that can help by counting. So there's another sense involved in taking that breath, the physical sensation, the thoughts, the counting in your head. Sometimes it can help to repeat a phrase, something that has a rhythm to it, something that you hear from a friend, something that helps you remind yourself to be in the moment. Backgrounding distractions and noises outside of this experience, sounds that may be going on in the background, and then foregrounding this experience, breathing, the sound of your repeated phrase, counting, the sensation of your lungs expanding, building some tension in the muscles in your chest, and then contracting as those muscles relax, and you exhale. Imagine that you're drawing in relaxation, warmth, oxygen, and exhaling to let go, release the tension, feeling your thoughts calm and slow along with your breathing. One last breath in and slowly exhale. And transition now to some gentle movements.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Megan. As Megan said, we're going to carry that lovely grounding energy into some gentle movements. So I invite everyone to come down onto the floor if you have a yoga mat or a blanket. Might be nice to set up a space that is comfortable to you. And we're going to get started laying on our backs, and then we'll gently transition into some other poses coming up onto our knees, our bellies, etc. So to get started, set up your space. If you have a yoga mat, great, or you can take a nice folded blanket or a towel. And we're going to allow ourselves to gradually come down onto our backs. You may use this as an opportunity to engage your core, rolling down one vertebrae at a time, or you might draw your elbows back and gently lay yourself down onto the floor. And when you land, extend your legs out, and then inhale your arms up overhead. With your next in-breath, come into a full body stretch, exhale, release. And with your next inhale, full body stretch, exhale, release. And then we're going to draw our fingertips and our toes up towards the ceiling and shake out our limbs. We have a lot of trapped energy in our joints, and being able to shake them out from time to time really helps to release that. With your next exhale, allow your feet to land on the mat, knees bent, and your arms at your sides. And then draw your hands to the back of your legs, drawing your knees up towards the ceiling. Then inhale, straighten your legs. Exhale, bend at your knees. Moving back and forth with these gentle movements. And you're beginning to awaken through the back of your legs. And also you're releasing your low back. The next time you find yourself exhaling, allow your feet to fully land on the mat. And then you have some options for modifications here. You can either take your hands and place them under the small of your back, or if you have a towel or a block, you can also use that as well. Placing whatever prop, if that feels good to you, underneath of your body, go ahead and hold there. And with your next inhale, straighten through your legs and begin to point and flex your feet. And as you're moving through this motion, remember with any exercise program to listen to your body, honor what it's telling you, and always practice at your own comfort and abilities. That goes true for these yoga movements as well. The next time your toes are pointed, pause there. We're going to start generating some heat by scissoring one leg in front of the other. Starting to awaken through our hips, building heat through our legs. Pause, flex your feet, and then open your legs into a gentle straddle, really shining out through the soles of your feet. We hold emotional energy in our hips, so being able to release them is always good. With your next in-breath, draw your legs together, point your toes, and begin to scissor your legs once more. You might quicken the pace, you might do something different, honoring what your body calls for. With your next inhale, pause, flex your feet, and then open your legs into that gentle straddle. You might keep the same width as before, as you might do something a little bit deeper. Another breath in, out, in, and with your next exhale, zip your legs together, flex your feet, and then begin to bicycle your legs. You can activate your core here. If you want a little bit more engagement, you can draw your legs down to the mat, or if you want to keep this gentle and yummy, feet up towards the ceiling. Pause and reverse. Breathing in and breathing out. Bringing that motion to a pause, legs up that imaginary wall, and then bend at your knees, allowing your feet to land, and then remove any prop underneath of you. With your next in-breath, draw your hands behind your back of your legs, drawing your knees in and up, and begin to circle your knees. This is giving your low back a massage. Breathing in and breathing out. Pause and reverse. Bringing that motion to a close, hug your knees into your chest. Exhale, release them out in front. So when your legs are extended out in front, flex your feet and begin to wave them as if your feet are windshield wipers and you're releasing through the top of your hips. Bringing that motion to a close, flex your feet as if you're standing, arms at your sides. And with your next in-breath, draw your left knee in towards your chest and interlace your fingers on your shin bone. And now your right leg can stay on the mat, or if you wish, you can lift your right leg up 1 to 2 inches, breathing in and breathing out. And as you do this, you want your legs in alignment with your hips. With your next exhale, release your left leg out in front, and then wave your feet once more to release the work that you just did in your hips. Bringing that motion to a pause, flex your feet once more, and with your next in-breath, draw your right knee in towards your chest and allow your left leg to float up off of the mat 1 to 2 inches. Breathing in and out into this hip opener. And again, helping to release any emotional energy that's trapped in your body. With your next exhale, release your arms at your sides, extend your legs out in front, and wave your feet once more. Bringing that motion to a close, draw your knees into your chest, giving yourself a hug and a squeeze, and begin to sway from side to side. enjoying the comfort of being drawn in and giving yourself a hug. And eventually, go ahead and allow yourself to tip over onto your favorite side, landing in fetal position, resting your head on the inside of your arm. Pausing here, drawing comfort and groundedness from this pose. Another breath in, out, in, and with your exhale, gently press your hands into the floor, raising your torso up. And we're going to make our way into what we call tabletop position. In tabletop position, if you have bad knees like I do, 39 years old, I've got some cranky knees. Sometimes it's nice to fold up a blanket or a towel to pad them while you come into this pose. So in tabletop, you want your knees under your hips and your wrists underneath of your shoulders, and then your spine's nice and long and active, making a table. Take a deep breath in, and with your exhale, draw the center of your spine up towards the ceiling, dropping your neck and head. Inhale, shine your heart forward. Moving through these motions, when you draw the center of your spine up, that's called cat. And when you draw your heart forward, that is called cow. And you want to start the movement in your tail and allow it to ripple up through your spine so that your neck and head are last to move. And you might notice that you're releasing some energy. You might find some tightness in your upper shoulders. I know I am right now. But just breathe in and breathe out. The next time you find yourself shining your heart forward, draw your tabletop neutral and then begin to walk your hands out in front. And as you're doing this, your hips are going to stay high and you're going to find a stretch, drawing your armpits down towards the floor. What you're doing here is making a nice long spine, and you're able to release some of that tension that may be trapped in your upper back and shoulders. With your next in-breath, you're going to activate through your core, and you're going to draw your nose in through your center line, coming into what's called a little baby cobra. So you're shining your heart forward and up. With your next in-breath, press your torso up and draw your hips back towards your heels, coming into what's called child's position. Arms can be extended here. Breathing in and breathing out. With your next in-breath, draw your nose along your blanket or mat. Again, coming into a little baby cobra, and then press your hips back towards your heels. If you feel comfortable continuing through a circular motion, go ahead and do that. Or you can hang out in either child's pose or cobra, depending on what feels good to you. But what we're doing here is we're activating our spine and really starting to warm up the body. The next time your hips are towards your heels, hold there. Your arms can stay extended in child's pose. You can fold them underneath of your forehead, or you can release them down at the sides of your body. Breathing in and breathing out. When you're feeling stressed, coming into child's pose helps to really ground down, and it helps give that sense of comfort as you come into this seed-like pose. Take another breath in, out, and with your next inhale, draw your hands underneath of you and return back to that tabletop position. And once again, move through a few rounds of cat and cow. Drawing your table neutral, extend your left toes behind you so that your left leg is nice and long, and you're going to draw your heel down towards the floor and then lift it up again, keeping your toes rooted. What we're doing here is really activating the sensation in the back of our leg, breathing in and breathing out. The next time you're finding yourself breathing in, pause there, and with your exhale, draw your left knee through your center line, and then you're going to step your left foot forward. This is coming into what we call a knee down lunge, and one thing to check in here is making sure that your knee is above your ankle and not past. Again, I'm extra sensitive when it comes to strains on your knees. And the other option is if your arms are a little shorter like mine, having a block to raise the floor up to you might feel nice here. When you're holding in your knee down lunge, you're really activating that stretch through your hips. And like I said, we're gonna try to keep releasing that emotional energy that might be trapped there. With your next exhale, draw your hips back towards your right heel, lengthening through your left leg, and draw your left toes up towards the ceiling. This is a beautiful hamstring stretch. We're gonna hang out here for another round of breath. With your next inhale, draw forward, knee down lunge. Exhale, runner stretch. Moving back and forth, breathing in and breathing out. And if there's a spot that calls for a longer hold, go ahead and honor that with an additional breath or two. The next time you land in your knee down lunge, hold there. Take notice of how you feel now in this position. And then activate through your core, drawing your left knee back, landing in a tabletop position, and move through another round of cat and cow. Drawing your table neutral, you're going to extend your right toes back. And again, your toes are rooted on the floor, extending through your leg. And then we're gonna pulse once more, drawing our heel down and then back up. Breathing in and out, activating that sensation in the back of your leg. Bringing that motion to a pause, draw your right knee through your center line, stepping it forward and landing in a knee down lunge on this side. Breathing in and out as you activate through your hips. And then with your next exhale, go ahead and draw your hips back and draw your toes up towards the ceiling. Now this is a really great opportunity to check in and be like, is your right hamstring looser or tighter than how it felt with your left? Taking note of that observation with your next inhale, rotate forward, knee down lunge. Exhale, runner stretch. Moving back and forth, breathing in and breathing out. Building heat and flexibility. The next time you land in your knee down lunge, you're gonna draw your right knee back, and then we're gonna pause in tabletop and move through another round of cat and cow. Drawing your table neutral, we're gonna shift our hips back towards our heels, curl our toes under, and then we're gonna make our way to a standing position. So from here, you can just come on up, pushing up from the floor, coming into a standing position. Hopefully no one got a head rush as we were doing that. Now, when you land on your mat, standing here, go ahead and wiggle out, seeing if there's any tension being held in your body. Once you have found that and released that a little bit, go ahead and draw your feet so that they are one hip width apart. And then once you've done that, keep your feet parallel and root all edges of your feet down into the mat. And then you're gonna draw a lengthening energy up through your legs, your core, and eventually shining the crown of your head towards the ceiling. Your shoulder blades are gonna be back as your heart shines forward. Breathing in and breathing out. Opening your palms forward, hands 45 degrees away from your body. We're gonna focus on this stance, which is called Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, finding length through your body. Exhale, deepening your connection to the foundation of your mountain. Breathing in and breathing out. While maintaining this lovely long spine and stance, with your next in-breath, draw your arms up overhead. Exhale, circle them down at your sides. Moving back and forth, breathing in and out, coming into what's called sun breath. Now, this can stay as a half body movement, or you can start to make it a full body one. You might notice that I'm bending through my knees. And you can even come all the way down to the mat, breathing in and breathing out. This gives an opportunity to generate a little bit of heat while also releasing any energy trapped in your body. Breathing in and breathing out. The next time your arms are extended overhead, hold there. Inhale, full body stretch. Exhale, release your arms at your sides and go ahead and shake it out. Bringing that motion to a close. Again, another place we like to hold stress and energy is in our shoulders and upper back. So we're going to do a few things to release out through that. Again, coming back to your Tadasana stance, feet parallel rooted, shoulder blades are back and down. With your next in-breath, draw your arms out shoulder height and then flip them so that your palms shine forward. And we're going to draw our fingertips to our shoulders. Begin to circle your elbows forward, finding the pace and size of circle that works for you. Breathing in and out. Pause and reverse. And you notice as you're reversing, you're really shining your heart forward. When we feel really tense, we tend to curl in and not expand out through our heart. So this might feel tight as you do this. The next time your elbows land at shoulder height, pause there. Open your arms out to the sides, flip your palms down, and release your arms at your sides, going ahead and wiggling it out. Bringing that motion to a close, we're going to do a few more arm stretches. Inhale your arms up overhead, and then you're going to do a little mind trick thinking here. You're going to send one hand in the opposite direction while the other one comes forward. So it's kind of, you're rotating your arms in opposite directions here. Breathing in and out, one forward and one back. The next time your arms are up overhead, pause there, and then reverse. Breathing in and breathing out. Bringing that motion to a close, inhale your arms up overhead, exhale, release them down, and go ahead and shake out through your shoulders. And if you want to make it full body, go for it. This is your practice. Bringing that motion to a close, let's go ahead and widen our stance. We want our feet to be about 1.5 or 2 hip width apart. I like a nice wide stance for doing this. Rotate your shoulders back and down, reaching the crown of your head towards the ceiling. Begin to twist at your spine. So you're twisting in your spine, and again, if you have those sore knees like I do, you might lift your opposite heel, or you can keep both feet rooted. As you're twisting from your spine, you'll notice that you're generating a little bit of movement in your arms. Allow the momentum in your spine to inform what your arms are doing here. You can start to quicken your spinal twists or not. In yoga, we call this empty coat sleeves. Breathing in and breathing out. Again, helping to release any stress energy that is in our spine. And then gradually allow that momentum to leave your arms and gradually return back to an upright spine and standing position. Go ahead and shorten your stance 1 hip width apart. Now, one thing I forgot to mention at the beginning of this is that you might want to have some props around when you're doing yoga. And this might be a good opportunity for this next pose to help release out through our shoulders, to either have something like a block, or you can also use a scarf, or you can use a towel to help support yourself, deepen through the stretch without overdoing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back to that Tadasana stance, feet are parallel 1 hip width apart, and rotate our shoulder blades back and down. Inhale, lift your arms out in front, and then exhale, sweep your arms behind, either interlacing your fingers or holding on to your prop, depending on what's available to you. And with your hands interlaced 45 degrees away from your body, reach the crown of your head towards the ceiling, and then we're going to slowly hinge at our hips. And as you're hinging at your hips, you're going to pause when your torso is level to the floor. And from here, you're going to reach your block, scarf, or your interlaced fingers up towards the ceiling. Breathing in and breathing out. This is a really lovely deep stretch in your shoulders and upper back. And then with your next exhale, as if someone's holding onto your hands, pulling you back, you're gonna return back to a standing position and then release your hands, your scarf, and go ahead and shake out. That is called Yoga Mudrasana, and it is this beautiful heart opener. As we say, when we get stressed, we curl in, and so it's good to release and open out. Going ahead and bringing that motion to a close, we're going to return back to our standing position. With your next in-breath, draw your arms up overhead, and then exhale, we're going to draw our hands down through our center line and bring them to the floor or your shins, whatever's available to you. We're going to pause here for a round of breath or two, really stretching through the back of our legs in your version of forward fold. And then we're going to release down to the floor, bending at your knees and drawing your hips down and eventually coming to an extended leg position. Now, when you're doing this, it can be really helpful to have a folded blanket or a towel to sit on the edge of. And the reason why that's helpful is it takes the pressure out of your low back. So that's a tip if you're playing with meditation, to always lift yourself up to take that pressure out of your low back. If you have a sore back while you do that, it might be helpful. With your legs extending out in front, go ahead and point and flex your toes. Spine's nice and long, and notice the difference in the back of your legs already in our nice short practice here. Bringing that motion to a pause, flex your feet, and then begin to shake out through your legs. And if you wish to pound out your muscles, you can do that as well. Bringing that motion to a close, flex your feet once more, and your legs can be zipped together or they can be one shoulder width apart. Completely up to you. Rooting your sits bones down, you're going to lengthen through your spine and draw your arms up overhead. Reaching your fingertips towards the ceiling, begin to hinge at your hips. Drawing your torso to your legs, and the point at which your back begins to curve, go ahead and lower your hands down to your feet. You can always use a block, your legs or the mat. And when you're doing this, you're shining your heart in the direction of your toes or your ankles. Breathing in and breathing out. This is called Paschimottanasana, or extended leg pose. And you want to do this without hyperextending through your knees. With your next in-breath, walk your hands in towards your hips, spine tall, and go ahead and wiggle out through your legs to release them. Bringing that to a close, draw the soles of your feet together, heels coming in towards your hips. Spine nice and long first, and with your exhale, go ahead and begin to hinge at your hips, drawing your heart towards the floor. And once you've found the engagement in your hips that work for you, go ahead and pause there. You can draw your nose down towards your feet, or you can have a nice long extended spine. Your choice. Breathing in and out. This is called Baddha Konasana and an incredible hip opener. With your next in-breath, draw your torso vertical, and then draw your knees together and extend out through your right leg. And here, when your right leg is extended, you want it in alignment with your hips. And then you're going to open your left knee out to the side. Now, if your left knee doesn't hit the floor all the way, you can always put a block or a pillow or something underneath of that. Spine nice and long, draw your arms up overhead, and with your next exhale, hinge at your hips. Once again, drawing your torso down towards your leg, and then allow your hands to land when your back begins to curve. So this is Janu Shirshasana, or head to knee pose. And you might notice that it shows up a little similarly to our extended leg pose, but it's also a little different because you're getting that hip opener. And you might find that you're a little bit more flexible in this way versus both legs being extended. With your next in-breath, walk your hands in, spine's nice and tall, and then draw your left knee up. Now for this next pose, your left foot can stay on the inside of your body, or if you have really flexible hips, You can cross it over your leg. I do not have super flexible hips, so I'm going to keep it on the inside here. And then we're going to take our right arm and wrap it around our left knee and extend our left fingers out in front. Then we're going to rainbow arch our arm overhead. Pause at the top of your arch. Reach your arm up nice and tall, spine nice and long, and then draw your hand behind you. And then you're going to turn and look out over your left shoulder, keeping your extended right foot flexed. Now, careful not to, twist in your spine further than your body says is okay. But again, we're releasing that stress energy with doing this little spinal opener. With your next in-breath, reverse the direction of your left hand and lower it down and extend out through your left leg and give your legs a nice little shake and wiggle. Bringing that motion to a pause, bend your right knee, drawing your heel in, and then open your knee out to the side. And again, if you'd like to use a block or a pillow underneath of that knee, go ahead and do that. Spine nice and long, draw your arms up overhead, and with your exhale, draw your torso down towards your leg and admire your nice flexed foot while you do that. Again, allowing your hands to land when your back begins to curve. Really embracing this hamstring stretch. You might feel it a little bit in your spine, hopefully not in a bad way. Always with yoga, you want sensation, never pain. Breathing in and breathing out. With your next in-breath, walk your hands in towards your hips, spine nice and long, and go ahead and lift your right knee and decide where you'd like to place your right foot. Bringing your heel in, wrap your left arm around your right knee, extend your right fingers out in front, and then rainbow arch your arm overhead, first stopping at the top of your arch, nice long spine, and then lower your hand behind you. Looking out over your shoulder, keeping your chin level to the floor if you can. And again, having that nice flexed foot. This is half-seated twist, or Ardha Matsyendrasana. It translates as half fish. I'm not sure how you get fish out of this pose, but that's what it's called. Breathing in, finding length in your spine. Breathing out, deepening this twist in a way that works for your body. With your next in-breath, draw your hand up overhead, down in front, and then extend out through your legs and give your legs a nice little shake and wiggle. And with that, we've taken some time to ground through our body, hopefully also opening through our hips and releasing any stress energy that might be there. And with that, I'm going to hand it back over to Dr. Megan Nesbitt to take us through our closing visualization.
Thank you very much, Julie. So hopefully our bodies feel woken up and loosened up, and we feel more aware of our muscles. I'm going to get us back started with a couple of breaths, and then we're going to do kind of a check-in with our bodies, and then we'll do a guided visualization of a walk on a fall day. So starting out with that hand on your chest and a hand on your belly, and taking a breath in, and exhaling. Breathing in and exhaling. And with this next breath in, let's imagine that you're breathing into your left foot. Just checking in with your left foot. Notice any sensations, any feelings. How are your muscles doing? And then let your attention continue up through your ankle, and your knee. Checking in with what you're feeling there. We're just noticing, accepting, and supporting our bodies. Noticing where we may still be holding some tension. You can imagine yourself breathing out with that tension and letting it go so that it's attached to your exhale. But also, it's okay if it's there and we're accepting it and we're continuing to breathe with where our bodies are at. So now moving that attention up through your thighs and into your hips. Or as Julie mentioned, we may be holding some additional energy, and she did a lot of great work to help us release that. So you may also be feeling relaxed and feeling like the tension is much less there. We're just checking in with where we're at and continuing to breathe. Now we're going to breathe into our right foot, all the way down to your right foot, taking that breath in and checking in with how the muscles in your foot feel. And then letting your attention move up through your ankle, the muscles in your calves and your knee. And as you breathe, exhaling to release tension and breathing in to increase awareness, focusing attention, slowly moving up that right leg into your right hip. And now in this next breath in, imagine you're drawing in a warm light all the way deep down into your lungs. Feel your chest expand. So you're increasing the tension in the muscles in your chest. And then relax and release. So breathing in again. Now we're going to let our attention focus in on our left hand. So just checking in with your body. And then moving your attention up through your arm to your shoulders, across the back of your shoulders and your neck, and then back down your arm to your right fingertips. And just checking in, maybe even rolling your shoulders out a little bit. Now we're going to breathe in. Imagine that you're drawing in, feeling your chest expand, rolling your shoulders back, and then relax and release, letting your attention focus in on that feeling of relaxing the muscles in your chest and pressing the air out with the muscles in your belly. You may have had your eyes open for most of this. If you feel comfortable, I'd like to invite you to close your eyes for the next part of this exercise so that we can imagine and visualize in our minds going on a walk on a lovely warm fall afternoon. So we're going to picture in our mind's eye that we're standing maybe in a field, maybe on a path, maybe on a hiking path. Maybe we're in our own neighborhoods. Maybe we're on a sidewalk. But the street is tree-lined, the field, there may be tall grasses and some trees nearby. The variety of colors in the leaves on the trees. It's a mild fall day, so it's warm. You might be also wearing a fall jacket or a scarf or even a hat. But the sun is warm on your skin. It's a little bit of a breeze. So as you look around, you're noticing the colors, noticing the blue of the sky, the sun, which is sort of between the zenith and the western horizon, Because we're taking a walk in the afternoon, there's a little bit of a golden quality to the light. You're hearing the rustle of the grasses, maybe even the sound of your own footsteps as you crunch on the gravel of the path or the wood chips of the path, or the sound of your footsteps on the sidewalk. Notice what else you're hearing. If you're walking in your neighborhood, maybe there's the occasional car that goes by, or the bark of a dog. If you're hiking in the woods or on a path in the field, maybe you hear some birds overhead. Maybe you hear the chatter of a squirrel. Maybe you even hear the occasional cricket or other insect. In addition, maybe you're on a path near a lake or a stream. You can hear the sound of the water flowing. And as you're continuing to walk, the scenery might be changing a little bit. So pay attention to the changes. Maybe you walk, the path takes you into a more wooded area. You see some fallen leaves blanketing the ground. Maybe as you look up through the trees, you can see the sunlight shafting down through the leaves in these golden streams, highlighting the colors, the reds, the golds, the yellows, the oranges, possibly some remaining green, and the leaves on the trees. Maybe the sounds have changed. Maybe it's muffling some sounds you were hearing before to be in among the trees. Maybe you can more clearly hear the sound of your own breath, the sound of your footsteps on the path. And as you breathe in, let's notice what you smell. Maybe there's a tang of cool in the air now that you're under the trees. Maybe there's that scent of fall. Maybe there's a smell of somebody who's burned a fire recently, or maybe there's a house nearby where they've got a fire going in their home. If you're walking near that stream or that lake, maybe there's a little bit of that smell of damp in the air that comes from being near water. Maybe you can also feel a taste in the air. If you reach up your hands to your scarf, or you reach out to touch the bark of a tree, or put your hands on your own thighs, kind of feel the texture of your clothing, of your scarf, of the bark of the tree. Maybe lean down and pick up a particularly beautiful leaf, one that you feel drawn to. Or maybe there's a stone on the path that catches your attention. You pick that up and you're feeling the textures. Maybe it's rounded and smooth. Maybe it's some rough edges and some texture that you can notice as you're feeling it in your hand, rolling it in the palm of your hand. We're going through each of our senses and thinking about all of the things that we might be seeing and hearing, the textures in the world around us, what we are touching, what we can smell, and what we taste, the feeling of our bodies moving as we're walking. Maybe there's a little bit of an incline or a declination. We're moving downhill, and you can feel the change in how the terrain affects the tension as you're walking. Maybe you notice it more in your knees or your thighs, imagining as you walk. Maybe you're beginning to feel a bit warmer as you're walking. Just taking a gradual, slow pace. We're really enjoying this day. The warmth and sunlight, the beautiful colors of a fall day. And continuing to follow our breathing. Let ourselves just enjoy being in the moment, being outdoors, feeling the gentle breeze on our cheeks, maybe rustling your hair, feeling the sunlight on your skin. And now we're going to begin to come back to the room where we're engaging in this practice, into an alert and relaxed and awake state of mind. We're going to carry this feeling with us of taking a walk on a lovely fall afternoon, a sunny day, feeling in the moment and present with ourselves and our senses. So listen to my voice and follow me as I count up from 1 to 5. And when I do get to 5, we're gonna open our eyes and feel refreshed, feel alert, carrying this feeling with us. 1, gradually beginning to return, beginning to shift our attention. Maybe notice the feel of the chair or the floor, whatever surface you're sitting on, feeling your hips supported by that surface, no longer walking. 2, more and more returns and awake. Maybe you begin to notice the noises and the sounds in the room around you. The sound of people moving in the next room. The sounds of activities. 3, now we might begin to move our hands and our feet. Just kind of flex and curl your hands and your feet, getting that motion back. Maybe move side to side a little bit and roll your shoulders. And 4, we're almost returned. Taking a deep breath and exhaling. And now 5, we'll open our eyes. I want you to focus on a room, on a point in the room that's on the far side. Or if you're standing by a window or sitting by a window, look far out through the window to pick a distant point. And to let the muscles around and behind your eyes relax the tension that builds there as we focus on the close distance with so much screen time and reading. You can also pick a point where you notice the textures, the colors, the shapes. Just noting what you see as you look around you in the room you're in, wherever you're engaging in this practice. Taking a deep breath and exhaling. You feel awake, alert, refreshed, ready to move on to whatever might be in the next part of your day and be more present and relaxed in your body and your mind. I'm going to share the screen again for a moment so that we can let you know our contact information. I want to thank you all for joining us for this workshop. Feel free to play it again multiple times and watch it whenever you need to. I'm going to leave it up for a few weeks so that people have it ready as a resource through finals. There are also a couple more of the wellness yoga sessions on Mondays at noon. They're listed in Engaged, so you'd be welcome to join Julie for those. And they're fantastic. And I run a Thursday workshop. So actually, since we're recording this on a Thursday, I'll be doing it again later this afternoon, weekly, Thursdays at 4:30. It's also listed in Engaged. So you can run a search for either the Wellness Center activities or just deep breathing, and that'll bring it up. So again, thank you all very much for joining us. And I hope you're feeling alert and refreshed.
Thank you so much.